Alright guys, what's going on? I'm going to try and show this panel off. Bear with me with my little filming rig and what I got going on. But anyways, F4i 2002, known as ugly switch panel I was showing earlier. Anyways, I'm going to show a quick install, quick rundown of function, quickly as I can. We'll see what happens anyways. So, you have your subframe panel here. It's got your on-off, your start, and your two accessory switches on it. Runs up into a OEM 9-pin with your output for your high current accessory, 12 volt for the functionality. On the back end, I have the output for the momentary and a green input simply for the lights and relay functions. This panel bolts up where your rear brake reservoir goes. So in the case that you go with this guy, you relocate the reservoir. There's a ton of options to do it. On my personal bike, I have it up in here. Some guys choose to just slap them back here. Other guys end up zip tying them up in the back and whatever else. But anyways, the main idea is quick, easy install. Green wire, like I say, is going to go to ground. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to hook it up to an alligator clip that I have in underneath the frame here. But on your bike, there's the battery there. There is the OEM frame ground there. There's a bunch of bolts that you can use for ground to get this done. My video, I'm going to hook it up to an alligator clip underneath here. So here's my alligator clip. That's my ground. You can use ring terminal, whatever else you want. Like I said, the gray wire is going to be for your momentary output. Use it for what you wish, horn, license plate stuff, whatever. Anyways, this plate designs to mount up here, screw hole. I send a bolt along, anyways, she mounts up in there. I'm not going to mount it right now, but one bolt, pretty straightforward. This harness, you can choose to go underneath your main cross member. In that case, you need to unplug this relay. Spend a little bit of time with your fingers, feed it underneath, and it'll pop out in this area over here. For the purposes of the video, I'm simply going to go over top of this main frame. On the other side, your main harness goes over the same area, so you're not in any real concern of pinching things here as long as you pay attention when you put stuff down, same as you would with the fuel lines and whatnot. After that, this harness will continue to tuck in along the motor. It's all sleeved in a nylon protection coating. I wouldn't lay it on the motor, keep it away from the heat points. But basically, you're just going to run it all along up into here, and you're going to meet up in the area where your pair valve used to be, or still is, like on this bike. But the idea is that most of these bikes don't have the pair valve anymore, so you're going to have a bunch of space down in here to make it pretty easy to work with. Once you get up front here, you're going to meet your OEM connectors, your OEM ignition, OEM right-hand control 9 pins, and I believe this is the OEM left-hand control 12 pin. We're not worrying about that right now. This little guy plugs directly into your OEM 9 pin, and that's providing 3/4 of the power and everything we need to run this panel right now. This one's designed to work with another panel. So moving on, we have this is my upper triple ignition plate system. I use this on my bike. Yes, this can get on the way for pull-through tricks and some stuff like that. There's other designs for that, but this is this system. So again, for the front here, you do need to remove the relay. The relays are in there for protection. Also offers the high current side of things. But basically, we're going to drop that down right through your old ignition hole. Everything goes with it through there. The wiring will all rest up tight against the outer edge, and the holes all line up. There's a gap naturally here on your triple. That's where the outside wires are able to loop up and get down in and through. Pretty straightforward. Then you're left with this harness, which is going to come down. You're probably going to run it, through your forks, down in through the frame, again ending up in the area where the pair valve was. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to go outside the forks, and we are going to plug this guy into our OEM ignition connector. Again, it's got the connection there. Don't forget to put your relay back in. So we've got our OEM ignition connector. Like I was saying, I'm just using something else for the grounds. So up front here, I'm going to grab this alligator clip. You can use the OEM pair valve bolt hole. It's a great little ground. So at this point, my panel is basically done. This is the output for your fan. So you run this guy down to the ground output. After the temperature sensor on the fan, it's going to give you full fan override. Oops, I did forget one little thing. My little jumper lead just connects the 12 volt from one side of the bike back to the other side of the harness. And then over here we have the high current output for accessory. I have a high current output for headlights, or 20 amp output for headlights, and away we go. So at this point, throwing this switch is going to bring the system live. These switches are on, so that's like turning your ignition on, brings the panel and everything else on. We come down here, and if you heard that, that was the pump priming. From there, we have the other functions on the bike. I'm not going to start it right now because I don't think the power commander's hooked up and stuff like that, but we have a momentary accessory output, we have a latched accessory output, you can hear the relay clicking, and we have the start. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Zip tie it all in, clean it all up, whatever accessories you want to hook up to your accessory wires, hook them up. This whole shooting match will sit down inside the paravalve location, the two relays, and yeah, basically your bars are going to be clean. So I'm going to try real quick, just go over it for you. You got your OEM connectors. All this is going to fit down in underneath. Your output wires with your ground, you know, they're going to end up sticking out over here so you can get to your headlight and your fan, which is ideally what they're for, which are located up here. Running down through the frame. This is all in like a ABS sleeving, so it's temperature resistant, protected. Running down through to your switch panel. High quality waterproof switches. You can choose different styles, colors, and all that. So your ground wire back here, where you can attach it to your OEM ground over there, or over to your battery up behind there. That gray wire is the momentary output for such things as plate flips or horns or whatever you want. Just let me know. I can add, delete, move options, change options. I got more ideas coming, but it looks a little chaotic, but this is about as easy as it's gonna get to get this many functions. And basically at this point, you don't need anything on your bars. You're cleaned up. So you switch over to like a 1K RR tube or something like that, and you're not gonna have, you know, you're gonna have a much cleaner style setup without anything over there to bug you. So I'm gonna try editing this video. We'll see, or I might have to just post it in some raw form, which will kind of suck. But gonna start trying to show a little bit more of what I do, kind of how I do it, how to install it. All of this stuff I'd offer, you know, full support if you end up buying it. If you need help with your bike, just give me a shout. I'm pretty well known for being able to help most of the guys out and don't mind doing it. And yeah, if there's something you want to see or learn or know how I do it to some extent, hit me up, shoot me a comment or a message, and we'll go from there. Anyways, guys, thanks so much. Hodge here at SwitchStylez. Take care.